Aha, you hear the music. Hello, everybody. I'm Ed Robinson, and welcome to the season premiere of the League Wraparound. This is the program that gets you caught up on anything and everything happening around the National Football League. Coming up on this edition of the program, we'll preview Week 1 of the 2024 NFL season. We'll have your Week 1 game picks and so much more. So sit back, relax, enjoy the program. And as always, once again, thank you so much for tuning in to the season premiere of the program. I want to start off with my top three storylines. I want to start off talking about quarterbacks. The 2024 NFL draft had a multitude of quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round. Caleb Williams going to the Chicago Bears. Jaden Daniels going to the Washington Commanders. Drake May going to the New England Patriots. Michael Penix Jr. going to the Atlanta Falcons. J.J. McCarthy selected by the Minnesota Vikings. Bo Nix selected by the Denver Broncos. So that's a lot of quarterback talent in the first round of this year's NFL draft. And first off, we know that the New England Patriots will not start. They will not start Drake May. Instead, they're going to go with the experienced veteran in Jacoby Brissett, rightfully so. First-year head coach Gerard Mayo wanted to make the decision to put Brissett in. Veteran leadership. He knows the system pretty well, very familiar with New England, being a part of several Super Bowl teams. He knows what it's all about. But Drake May, if you watch that last preseason game with New England and Washington, you could see some signs that he's, picking up a little bit. But Patriots felt, particularly Coach Gerard Mayo, felt like Jacoby Brissett was the best person for the job. Now, Michael Penix Jr., again, similar situation in New England. Penix, drafted by the Falcons, will he get his opportunity to start? He will eventually. But the Falcons made a big move during the offseason, signing Kirk Cousins to a contract. Kirk Cousins, who knows what his future is going to be? Who knows what's going to hold for him this year? Coming off of an ACL injury, his offensive line is expected to be better in Atlanta. We'll see how that all plays out. But for right now, the future appears to look bright for Michael Penix Jr. in Atlanta. So we have Drake May won't be starting Week 1. May not start this year. Who knows what's happening? The NFL is a long season. Penix Jr. is going to be the backup to Cousins. J.J. McCarthy. J.J. will not be starting. Matter of fact, he's done for the year after having a meniscus tear in his knee. So Sam Darnold will start for the Vikings, will be the starting quarterback for this season. So if you know about Sam Darnold, was decent with the Jets. He made the comment, said that he couldn't remember anything. He started seeing ghosts. I don't know what that was all about, but after some time with the Jets, Darnold had a run with the Carolina Panthers, then also was with the 49ers for a short period of time, and now he becomes the starter this year for the Vikings. I think the future is going to be bright for J.J. McCarthy as well. I think with McCarthy not starting and he's going to sit behind Darnold this year. He may sit behind him again next year. Who knows what's going to happen? The NFL doesn't just stand for the National Football League. It also stands for not for long. But McCarthy will have his chances to be a quality and effective starter in the NFL. Let's move over to the Denver Broncos now. Bo Nix is the quarterback for the Broncos. This is year 2 of the Sean Payton era in Denver. The Russell Wilson experiment didn't work out last year. Coach Payton appears to have his guy, and rightfully so. Bo Nix, he dazzled in the preseason. If you look at him in an athletic version of Drew Brees, so to speak, kind of the same throwing motion, similar skills. It's just that Nix is taller and more athletic. And I think Sean Payton feels that he hit the lottery with drafting Bo Nix as a quarterback. So we'll see how this plays out. But I know year 2 in the Sean Payton era, he's definitely going to be confident with his rookie quarterback in Bo Nix. Caleb Williams. Everybody is going to be watching the Chicago Bears and specifically Caleb Williams. 2 years ago, won the Heisman Trophy. He dazzled at USC. Also, he dazzled for a period of time at the University of Oklahoma. This is a make-or-break year for the Chicago Bears. When you think of the Bears, you think of monsters of the Midway. You think of running game. You think of defense. You think of Walter Payton. You think of Dick Butkus. You think of Gale Sayers. You think of the 85 Bears, Mike Singletary, Steve McMichael, Dan Hampton, Richard Dent, and so on and so forth. When you think of quarterbacks with the Bears, a few names come to mind. Rex Grossman, Kyle Orton. Also, you think about Brian Griese, for a short period of time, Jay Cutler. And, of course, people think about Jim McMahon. But Caleb Williams is just something special, and it goes to show you that the Bears, this is a make-or-break year for all of the reasons that I'm going to mention. Ryan Poles, the general manager of the team, his job is on the line. He wants to get it right. Bears fans want to be there because they know that, you know, the teams are getting better in the NFC. I mean, it's still pretty wide open in the NFC, but the Bears know that this is a chance for them to get back to dominance, right? Green Bay, they had a runaway year last year. Nobody expected what Jordan Love was going to do, but hey, the Packers, they're getting better. The Lions have gotten better. The J.J. McCarthy injury, I don't think that'll slow down the Vikings because you still have Jordan Jefferson and company. You still have a chance to win. But the Bears, they want to get back. They've suffered for quite a while now, and they want to get back to winning Chicago Bears football, not just with the running game and the defense, but with an electric quarterback like a Caleb Williams. And certainly fans in the Chi, they're excited, and it's an anticipation, and rightfully so, that you have a talent, an elite talent like Caleb Williams. And for the Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels, a new era is now. Last year's Heisman Trophy winner out of LSU. I mean, we knew this was going to be a no-brainer that Jaden was going to be the Commanders' starting quarterback. The last year, we saw the Commanders' offense kind of be in a flux. Eric Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator. Sam Howell took over as the starting quarterback. There were some numbers, there were some flashes, but a lot of changes were made in the offseason. New head coach, Dan Quinn is in. Out goes Bieniemy. In comes Cliff Kingsbury. And if you know about Cliff Kingsbury's pedigree, right, being in college as an offensive coordinator, then being the head coach for a period of time with the Cardinals. And the Commanders just went through an overhaul on the coaching side. And Jaden Daniels, he's got a lot to work with, but I think he's really going to do well. And you've got Terry McLaurin, one of the best receivers in the league. You've added in an addition with Austin Eckler. Now the Commanders trading Jahan Dotson. We'll see how that plays out. I think Philadelphia won in on that trade, but Jaden is going to be really, really special. We talked about Caleb Williams in Chicago, but we need to talk about Jaden in the DMV. He's really going to shake up the atmosphere with the Commanders, and who knows, the Commanders may sneak up and get a playoff spot. It's pretty wide open in the NFC. It's really for the taking. I mean, yeah, San Francisco, Philadelphia, the Rams, but it's still, playoff spots are still wide open in the NFC, and Washington could get one, and it begins and ends with their hotshot rookie quarterback out of LSU named Jaden Daniels. My next storyline is going to be Aaron Rodgers. We know about Aaron, right? Listen, Aaron is a Super Bowl champion, 4-time league MVP. He's going to be a future Hall of Famer. No doubt in my mind. Last year, only, 6 or 7 snaps, and tears his Achilles, done for the year, and went through the rehab, went through the process, and again, typical off-season, Aaron not showing up at certain places, but didn't play in the preseason, but he's going to be ready to go for week 1. And this is going to be an interesting year for the Jets. And it begins and ends with Aaron Rodgers. I can't say number 12, more like number 8. It begins and ends with number 8. And it's interesting because, again, in the offseason with the Jets, Hassan Reddick was asking for a trade. He hasn't received it yet for the moment. He's still a member of the Jets. And it's going to be pressure galore. And Aaron Rodgers has got to deliver this year. Because if he does not, boy, there's going to be a whole lot of questions that need some answers. And right now, they have very few answers. Dealing with the New York Jets, there's always going to be a lot of questions and few answers. But Aaron has got to get it done this year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Again, didn't play in the preseason. The Achilles, he's healthy. He's ready to go. Missed out on some key activities during the offseason. But we'll see. I mean, listen, Aaron Rodgers, one of my favorite players of all time, one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. And certainly, he's got to get it done in year 2 with being a member of the Jets. And I know Jet fans, they're ready for this. They've been ready for this since September, since the injury had happened. So we'll see what happens, man. But this is going to be a make-or-break year for the Jets, not just for Rodgers, but even for management as well. Joe Douglas, his job could be on the line as well. I know Woody Johnson is watching him very carefully. So we'll see what Aaron Rodgers does in year 2 with the Jets, Jets. And for my last storyline is going to be the 2024 NFL season. So it's a new season with some teams have new coaches, new rosters, also new storylines. The Buffalo Bills, no more Stephon Diggs. He's with the Houston Texans. Josh Allen, what's going to happen with him? Who's going to be his new go-to guy or go-to guys? Sean McDermott, job on the hot seat. What's going to happen with McDermott going forward? Buffalo, again, that window is still open to win a Super Bowl, but it's slightly closing. What about the Miami Dolphins? Tua coming in slender. I don't know if it's a certain weight loss drug or not. We're not going to get into that, but he's coming much slimmer this year. Tyreek Hill, the interesting offseason. Will he be impacted? Will those offseason problems impact him on the field? We'll see. But the Dolphins, offensively, they're good. Mike McDaniel's got a contract extension. We'll see how it all plays out for him. Well, for him and his team, the Miami Dolphins. I mentioned earlier, the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers. Year 2 for the Rodgers era in New York. Fans, they're antsy every year. Let's see if the Jets can get a playoff spot. Are the Super Bowl aspirations still high? Sure, they're high, but we'll see how it all plays out. The Jets made some additions. Let's see if they can hold up and keep number 8, keep them healthy for the most part, and see if they can turn it into success. The New England Patriots. Hey, New England going through growing pains. They drafted a rookie quarterback, but they're going to roll with Jacoby Brissett. We'll see how New England plays out on this one. Again, this is post-Belichick era, post-Brady era. We'll see how it all plays out. Also in the AFC, right, we've got the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson. You know Lamar's going to be Lamar. And you've got Derrick Henry, new addition to the team. We'll see what the Ravens are going to do. Also with Cincinnati, Joe Burrow. Joe coming back healthy, coming back from the wrist injury. Jamar Chase, that contract situation's real dicey. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Russell Wilson, a new home in Pittsburgh after not getting his chance in Denver. Justin Fields also he got his chance in Chicago, didn't succeed. Now is the backup in Pittsburgh. The Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson coming back from his shoulder injury. Didn't play in the preseason, but the high hopes are for Cleveland. Also in the AFC, C.J. Stroud. How will he do in his sophomore year? Will he be better than his rookie year? How about the Indianapolis Colts? Anthony Richardson. We'll see how it all plays out for him in year 2. The Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, got rewarded with a big contract extension. We'll see how the Jaguars move going forward. The Tennessee Titans, Will Levis, the quarterback, maybe Malik Willis may take over. Who knows what's going to happen with the Titans and now in the post-Derrick Henry era. The Denver Broncos, Sean Payton era. You got Bo Nix, the rookie quarterback, an athletic and a taller Drew Brees. I think this is what Sean Payton has been aiming for. Now let's see if it can translate into wins. The Las Vegas Raiders, Minshew Mania. Gardner Minshew's the quarterback. Devontae Adams, we'll see if he wants to stay with the Raiders in the long term, maybe with Minshew at the quarterback position. We'll see how that all plays out. The Los Angeles Chargers, new era with the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh, the new head coach, bringing life into that franchise. Justin Herbert, one of the best in the league. We know what Justin brings to the table. And the Kansas City Chiefs, two-time champions, the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, not going anywhere. They added a rookie with Xavier Worthy. This should be interesting. I mean, the Chiefs are locked and loaded, ready to go. Also, you've got Andy Reid, got an extension. He's not going anywhere, so the Chiefs are picking up right where they left off at. As far as the NFC is concerned, the Dallas Cowboys, listen, you know Dallas, the soap opera that never ends. Quarterback Dak Prescott, still no contract extension. This is going to be interesting how this plays out going forward. CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver, got his extension. And the New York Giants, they drafted Malik Neighbors, the rookie receiver out of LSU. The Giants, I think this is going to be another year of growing pains in the post-Saquon Barkley era. The Philadelphia Eagles, wow. Jalen Hurts, not going anywhere. Devontae Smith got a contract extension. A.J. Brown, not going anywhere. You acquire Saquon Barkley, man. And then you talking about recently in a trade with Washington, acquiring Jahan Dotson. That is huge. And the Eagles, I mean, Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie and Eagles management continuing to roll the dice, man. And they are just wheeling and dealing. And the Washington Commanders, a new era in Washington. Jaden Daniels. The future is so bright for him, and the expectations are extremely high with a new head coach, Dan Quinn, and you have a receiver, a veteran receiver with Terry McLaurin. Sky is definitely going to be the limit for the Washington Commanders. The Chicago Bears, new era for the Bears. Caleb Williams. Chicago fans, Bears fans worldwide, they are so excited because this is a new era in the Windy City, and Caleb is going to dazzle just like Jaden in Washington. What a magnificent year it was last year for the Detroit Lions. Detroit clicked on all cylinders, just short of reaching their chance to win the Lombardi. But Dan Campbell, he's not going anywhere. Quarterback Jared Goff got a contract extension. Jahmyr Gibbs is at the peak of his powers right now. And Amon-Ra St. Brown got a contract extension. Aiden Hutchinson is just hitting his peak. Detroit is going to be good for a while. The Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love. Who would have thought last year the Packers would be playing in the wild card game and almost beating San Francisco? That was an interesting game. And then, you know, the Packers, again, they're building their future around Jordan Love. And the Minnesota Vikings, J.J. McCarthy, done for the year. Sam Darnold's going to take over the reins this year. You've also got Aaron Jones playing for the Packers. Now he's going over to the Vikings. And, of course, Jordan Jefferson, he's not going anywhere. Jordan, one of the premier players and wide receivers in the league. The Atlanta Falcons, signing Kirk Cousins, coming off the ACL injury. How's that going to play out? But you've got Kyle Pitts and you've got Bijan Robinson. Very interesting young talent in Atlanta. Then, of course, you've got Michael Penix Jr. drafting him in the first round, who's going to be your backup. The Carolina Panthers, what can you say about Carolina, right? A dismal year last year. Bryce Young, the number one overall pick in last year's NFL draft, going through the motions, going through growing pains. And, you know, we'll see what Carolina has. I mean, they have a new head coach, Dave Canales, in his first year with Carolina. Was the offensive coordinator with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for quite a while, and hopefully he can be someone that will help out Bryce in all the right reasons. The New Orleans Saints, Dennis Allen, he's on the hot seat as well. This is year 3 in the Allen era in New Orleans. Derek Carr, we'll see what's going to happen with him. Spencer Rattler is the third string. Jake Hayner is the backup. Alvin Kamara, much of the offseason was with contract extensions. And however, they have a new offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, who was the passing game coordinator for the 49ers. So we'll see what happens with the Saints as far as their offense is concerned. Now, they do have wide receiver Chris Olave. Chris is going to be Chris. He's going to get his in. On the defensive side, Cam Jordan, not going anywhere, consistent. Demario Davis, he's consistent as well. Carl Granderson is expected to have a solid year as well. So the Saints could be one of those dark horses, not just in the NFC, but in the NFL as well. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, tough loss in the playoffs last year against the Detroit Lions. And, we'll see what happens as far as Baker is concerned. But Baker got the contract extension. Buccaneers, they've got a lot going for them this year. And we'll see what happens with them. Again, the Bucs will be tough. The Bucs will give teams a lot of fits this year, not just in the NFC South, but just the NFL as a whole. Todd Bowles, a defensive specialist, he'll have his defenders ready to go for this season. The Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray. What's going to happen with Kyler? He's coming back from the injury. We'll see how it all plays out with him. Marvin Harrison Jr., high hopes for him this year. We'll see what Mr. Harrison Jr. can do. The L.A. Rams, the Rams with Puka Nacua. Also, you've got Kyron Williams and Matthew Stafford. Listen, Stafford is a quote-unquote older quarterback, but you know what? He's still getting it done, and then some. And then when you add Cooper Kupp to the mix as well, and then you have the rookie Blake Corum, sky's the limit, man. I mean, the Rams can still get it done, and they're going to have to get it done, especially now in the post-Aaron Donald era after Aaron announced his retirement suddenly, which shocked a lot of people. The Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks, they're going to be a dark horse this year, not just in the NFC, but in the NFL as well. Geno Smith got a contract extension. Certainly surprised a lot of people last year. Geno getting a second wind. Kenneth Walker, the third, one of the rising stars in the league, a great running back. And then the receivers, you got Tyler Lockett and you got DK Metcalf. What more could you ask for, right? And defensive backs, Devin Witherspoon. Devin Witherspoon was in the top 5 in interceptions last year. I mean, Seattle's defense, just a beast. And then Pete Carroll. What's not to love about Pete Carroll, right? Seattle's going to be ready, more than ready, for action this year. And certainly they can spoil a lot of playoff hopes and maybe even some Super Bowl aspirations as well. And the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers fell short in last year's Super Bowl, losing in overtime. But the 49ers, you've always got to put them in there, right? You've always have to put them in the mix as well. I said that the Packers lost to the 49ers in the wild card game last year. I stand corrected. It was the divisional playoff game last year that the 49ers beat the Packers. Very good game, a very close game. It was 24-21. But, man, the 49ers, Brock Purdy, the contract extension, that's going to be coming up for him real soon. We know he's going to get his money. Brandon Ayuk got his deal, so Brandon's going to be solid as well. And, the 49ers, listen, a lot of things have happened to them lately with the whole Ricky Pearsall situation. Of course, if you haven't heard, Ricky was shot in the chest during a robbery attempt in a section of San Francisco. Someone tried to attempted to take his watch, and there was a whole tussle. But the great news is that Ricky is recovering, and he'll be back to practice real soon. But the 49ers, how can you not count them out? Not just with Brock Purdy, but Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. You have George Kittle, Nick Bosa, Leonard Floyd, Javon Hargrave. You've got Fred Warner. They're going to be ready. I mean, those guys are going to be ready. Issues that I have are the Trent Williams situation. Trent wants his money. Trent is deserving of the contract, but he's holding out. So we'll see how this whole holdout situation plays out with the 49ers, how it's going to impact them, whether it be going into week 1 or maybe the rest of September or early October. Who knows how long this holdout is going to be. But, man, the 49ers, they're going to be solid. They're going to be really good this year. And I think they say they're an older team. I don't want to call them an older team. I'll just call them a team that's really in their prime. I mean, it begins and ends with McCaffrey. When McCaffrey gets going, everybody else gets going. McCaffrey is the engine that keeps that team running. And we'll see how it all plays out. But the 49ers shouldn't have to worry about them because they're clicking on all cylinders right now. The Ayuk contract is done. Now they just have to get the Trent Williams deal done, situation, and things of that nature. So, but the 49ers should be good for this season, pending that they can get the Trent Williams contract done and get that taken care of. Takes care of my top 3 storylines. All right, before we preview week 1, there's a situation for those of you that have been sleeping under a rock. For you DirecTV subscribers out there, for those of you that have DirecTV or a DirecTV stream, currently DirecTV is in a contract dispute with Walt Disney-owned channels. So as this show is currently airing, there's a contract dispute going on between DirecTV and Walt Disney-owned channels that includes the ESPN family of networks. That's ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, ESPN Plus, ACC Network, SEC Network, Longhorn Network, as well as other Disney properties like Disney Channel, Disney Plus, Disney Junior, Disney XD, and also the ABC network. So if you have DirecTV or DirecTV Stream, and also, too, it's affecting Uverse as well because Uverse customers do not have access currently to the ESPN family of networks or the Disney-owned channels, which is the ESPN family of networks and ABC. So for those of you that have DirecTV Stream, or Uverse, you cannot watch any ABC network programming. So if you have an ABC affiliate or an ABC station on your DirecTV or your DirecTV Stream or your Uverse, you will not be able to watch it. And fans, including myself, got hit with a rude awakening on Sunday at, I would say approximately 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, when DirecTV pulled the plug on all Walt Disney-owned channels, including ESPN and ABC, and it went in the dark. Everything went in the dark, and a lot of people on social media were frustrated and were not happy about this. And you got to understand, this is one of the busiest time in sports because we're coming off of the Labor Day weekend. The NFL season is getting underway, and you've had the U.S. Open tennis tournament in progress, and this is it's a shame. And you have to remember that no matter what happens in the situation, the subscribers never win. The subscribers always lose out because they could go up on your bill, or they may make you pay for something, a channel that you don't need. It's just all sorts of things that are going on. But to just give you kind of a recap or some information on what's going on, as this show is airing, there's an ongoing contract dispute between DirecTV and Walt Disney owned channels. That includes your ESPN family of networks and all ABC stations. So if you're watching, say for instance you have DirecTV or DirecTV Stream, or you have Uverse and you're watching, you're unable to watch an ABC affiliate, you want to watch local programming or even watch network programming, you're unable to do so due to this current contract dispute. And we know that cable and satellite people still subscribe to it, but it's a slowly fading medium. So there's been reports about ESPN. They were supposed to launch a digital streaming platform this fall, but that's been delayed because of court cases and legal proceedings going on with Fubo TV. And then also, too, there's recent information coming out about the whole contract dispute between DirecTV and Disney, where they may want to make ESPN a part of a bundle with Disney Plus, and DirecTV is trying to offer flexibility and affordability and choices and options to their subscribers. But there's a lot going on. This happens every year. I believe last year Spectrum went through it, and then the following year it was Charter, and I think 1 year Dish Network went through it. So every year around this time, there's always some contract disputes going on with cable companies or satellite providers and networks and, broadcasting companies. But hopefully they can work this thing out. Hopefully they will have it on in enough time where football fans, not just college football fans, but NFL fans can enjoy the ESPN networks as well as ABC. So, and I heard there's for all you DirecTV subscribers out there, they're going to offer a $20 credit as a result of this whole contract dispute, this whole fiasco that's going on. So there's supposed to be a website that you can go on to find out how to get your $20 credit, but this happens every year. It's unfortunate, and this is one of the best times in sports right now. Between late August and February is when you have a lot of subscriptions go up, whether not just with streaming services, but even with cable and satellite providers. So that's the ongoing thing that's happening with DirecTV and Walt Disney-owned channels. All right, that takes care of that. So now it's time. Let's preview Week 1 of the 2024 NFL season. Thursday Night Football, the opener. The Baltimore Ravens going up against the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs. For the Ravens, hey, you know the drill, right? Lamar Jackson, he's back. Lamar, being Lamar, he's not going anywhere. They've got a new running back, Derrick Henry. So you've got Lamar and you got Derrick out in the offense. And as for the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, the usual, they're back. Andy Reid, head coach, he's not going anywhere. The Chiefs, they struck gold in drafting a rookie with Xavier Worthy. So the Ravens and the Chiefs, this is a rematch of last year's AFC championship game. They played in Baltimore. The Chiefs held on to beat the Ravens 17-10. And this game, the NFL is a quarterbacks league, so it's all about Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. Lamar is the reigning league MVP. Patrick Mahomes is the reigning Super Bowl MVP. And this is going to come down to the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks are going to have their say. The quarterbacks are going to come in and they're going to do what they do best. Patrick, the Harry Houdini of the NFL, creating magic like no other. Lamar Jackson, he's going to create his own magic as well. If, can't get it done throwing the ball, he's going to get it done running, fighting for those yards. So at the end of the day, it's going to come down to these two quarterbacks trying to will their team to a victory. Ravens and Chiefs, it's going to be fun. When is it not fun when these two play each other? I mean, Baltimore, Kansas City, always fun, never a dull moment. It's going to be good. It should be a lot of fun. We have the Friday night game in Sao Paulo, Brazil. as a part of the NFL International Series between the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. So for the first time in NFL history, there will be a regular season game to be played in Brazil and in Sao Paulo, one of the busiest cities, one of the most exciting cities, not just in Brazil, but in all of the world. And certainly they're going to be excited to have NFL football. And when you talk about the continuing growing of the NFL from an international perspective, this is going to look really good for not just both teams, but for the NFL and continue to growing their international base. So I talked about just quarterbacks, and we've got two dynamic quarterbacks, Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts. Jordan Love, this is his team. Green Bay is his team, and certainly when you've got a guy like Jordan, somebody that's really, going to put Green Bay on the map. And you got to remember when Jordan, what he did in that playoff game last year against the 49ers, no one expected that, but Green Bay came out ready to play. They shocked everybody, including me. Unfortunately, Jordan throwing the ball on the run, rookie mistakes, youth not having enough playoff experience. That's what's going to happen. You're going to make mistakes like that and throw last-minute interceptions. But Jordan's learned from it. The Packers have learned from it, and they're ready for this 2024 season. For the Eagles, big changes in the offseason. They acquire Saquon Barkley. Devontae Smith gets a contract extension. A.J. Brown got his deal not too long ago. And then recently in a trade, you acquired Jahan Dotson. The Eagles are wheeling and dealing. Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, Eagles management doing their thing. And, of course, Jalen Hurts, he's been doing his thing since he's been the starting quarterback for the Eagles. So Packers and Eagles, this is going to be so much fun. This is going to be a great game, and fans in Brazil, specifically in Sao Paulo, they're going to love American football as the NFL continues to expand its international base. We've got the Buffalo Bills going up against the Arizona Cardinals. So for the Cardinals and the Bills, Kyler Murray, healthy, coming back from an injury, he's got a brand new target. He's got Marvin Harrison Jr. How well will they play? Remains to be seen. As for Buffalo, Stephon Diggs is no more. Josh Allen, he's still the quarterback. He's got to find his go-to guy or his go-to guys as well. So Cardinals and Bills, that's going to be an exciting game. They're going to be playing outside of Buffalo. Those fans are some of the best, not just in sports, but in the NFL as well. And it should be an intriguing game between the Cardinals and the Bills. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars going up against the Miami Dolphins. So in the Battle of Florida, Trevor Lawrence for the Jacksonville Jaguars, the quarterback, got his contract extension. So Trevor, he's got Travis Etienne. He's also got Calvin Ridley. He's got guys that are going to be ready to play. Jacksonville, this is supposed to be a big year for them this year. And also a big year for another team is the Miami Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa, Tua coming in slimmer. Very interesting right there. I wonder if there were rumors about him possibly using a certain weight loss drug. We won't do any naming. We won't do any product placement, but Tua came to camp slimmer. Tyreek Hill being Tyreek Hill. He's not going anywhere. And the Dolphins, again, offensively, are going to be focused this year. They're going to be razor sharp. Mike McDaniel was rewarded with a contract extension. So this should be a fun game in South Florida. Two polar opposite teams. You have a team with a balanced offense, but also they like to run the ball and they like to play defense. Going up against a team where their MO, their bread and butter, is offense, fast-paced, nonstop, moving the ball constantly. So this should be a good one down in South Florida with the Jaguars and the Dolphins. The Tennessee Titans will square off against the Chicago Bears. For Tennessee, the Will Levis era is here. Tennessee, there's no more Derrick Henry. That era is over with, but they do have DeAndre Hopkins. So this should be an interesting combination with Levis and Hopkins. They're going to be playing in Chicago, and the atmosphere is going to be electric as a new era is in the Windy City with quarterback Caleb Williams. And not just Caleb Williams, but when you have another rookie with Rome Odunze, and of course you have DJ Moore, my goodness, the sky is definitely not the limit. They can go as high as they want with this offense. On paper, it looks really great. And certainly with Caleb arriving in Chicago, Bears fans are going to be Bears fans are already excited, and they're going to be extremely excited as they get ready for this big one between the Titans and the Bears. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers going up against the Atlanta Falcons. So first for the Falcons, Kirk Cousins, no longer a member of the Minnesota Vikings. He has a new home as a member of the Atlanta Falcons. How is he going to perform after tearing his ACL last year? It remains to be seen, but the outlook looks really good. His backup, Michael Penix Jr., not a bad backup to have at all, right? And then on the offensive side, you've got guys like Bijan Robinson, and you've got also Kyle Pitts, just to name a few. So while the Falcons find their way, Pittsburgh, they found their quarterback, Russell Wilson. You talk about an interesting 2 years it's been for. Well, actually, an interesting 3 years. His last year in Seattle, productive, but he wanted out, didn't want to be there anymore. Arrives, gets traded to the Denver Broncos, and immediately, even before he even puts a uniform on, gets the contract extension. Year one, so-so. In year one, Nathaniel Hackett was his head coach. After one season, Hackett is out, in comes Sean Payton. And Wilson got healthy, slimmed down, and he followed the game plan. And the Broncos, around between October and like early November, they got on a roll. And just for some reason, they just never, Coach Payton and Russell, they just never meshed. They just never got it together. They just never seemed to have that chemistry. So after year two, Wilson was, actually before the season had ended, he was benched and did not play the last several games of the regular season last year. Wilson was not given his roster bonus at the end of the year. He was released, and now Denver's going to be paying him for the next 2 years, this year and next year, of that contract. And while he's getting money from Denver, Wilson signed a 1-year contract with the Steelers. So Wilson's is the starting quarterback. Justin Fields is his backup as well. So this is big. This is a big game for the Steelers, particularly for Russell Wilson. Russell going to Atlanta. His wife, Sierra, is from Atlanta. And the Falcons were one of the teams, I believe, that he visited before he made his decision to sign with the Steelers. So this is a big game for not just Russell Wilson, but also a big game for the Steelers as well. You got Najee Harris. He's coming back. Cam Hayward, he recently signed an extension as well. So this is going to be big. I mean, this is going to be big for the Falcons, but I think this is even bigger for the Steelers, and particularly for Russell Wilson. He's definitely got a lot to prove. The next game that we have is going to be the Houston Texans going up against the Indianapolis Colts. So for the Texans, what a phenomenal rookie year last year for C.J. Stroud. I mean, he hit it out the park times 10. C.J. did his thing throwing the ball and running the ball. It took the Texans, had a successful game in the wild card, beating the Cleveland Browns and losing to the Baltimore Ravens in a divisional game. But the future is bright in Houston, and the future is bright for C.J. Stroud. And the future is even brighter for Stephon Diggs. Stephon no longer a member of the Buffalo Bills, signs with the Houston Texans. So when you've got Stephon Diggs, you've also got Tank Dell. The Texans are, on paper, they are better than what they were last year. And C.J. Stroud, man, it's going to continue to go up from here on out. For the Indianapolis Colts, year 2 for their quarterback, Anthony Richardson. We'll see what Anthony brings to the table. Anthony coming back from the injury. Again, the expectations are high in Indianapolis. You've also got Jonathan Taylor. He's expected to carry a major load for the Colts this year. So this is going to be a big game for both teams, specifically, I believe, for the Colts, because with Richardson coming back from the injury, and of course Jonathan Taylor, and of course with Indianapolis and their sports scene is just phenomenal right now with the WNBA and the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark and so on. The Colts want to be a part of that continued success, and certainly they have a chance to do so, as I mentioned earlier, with those gentlemen that are, with Anthony Richardson and company. But the Texans, man, they really they hit a big one in the off season with Stephon Diggs, and then you've got year 2 of the C.J. Stroud era. This is certainly something that's going to be interesting, and certainly something that's going to be phenomenal from here on out. All right, the next game that we have is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals and the New England Patriots. So in Cincinnati, we know about the whole situation with the Jamar Chase contract situation. We know how that's going to go. We know how that's been going, I should say. I know Jamar's not happy about it, but they do have Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow coming back from the wrist injury. They lost Joe Mixon. But if you got Joe Burrow, you've always got a chance to win. And they've revamped the offensive line. And as for New England, again, the growing pains continue for the New England Patriots. The growing pains continue. Drake May was drafted in the first round. Drake is not going to be the starting quarterback. It will be Jacoby Brissett. I think that's the right move considering what New England is currently doing, and their first-year head coach, Gerard Mayo. Brissett's been there. He knows the system, won a couple of Super Bowls, and they are going to need Brissett and his experience to shine bright. And certainly, Brissett is somebody that's he's not a guy that's big on numbers, but he's certainly somebody that can get you from point A to point B. He's somebody that always gets the job done. But Cincinnati, a lot of weapons, and Joe Burrow, I mean, nuts said on that one with the Patriots and the Bengals. We've got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the New York Giants. With the Vikings, J.J. McCarthy tore a meniscus in his knee during the preseason, done for the year. Out goes McCarthy. In comes Sam Darnold to take over the reins as the quarterback for this season. So Darnold is expected to do it for the Vikings this year. And also expected to do it big for the Vikings this year is the wide receiver, Justin Jefferson. I mean, Justin Jefferson has been making video game catches since he was in college at LSU. And Jefferson is expected to have a big one for the Vikings this year. Not just Jefferson, but also, too, Jordan Addison. Jordan is somebody that is expected to have a big one this year. Now, the question is, can Sam Darnold get it done for them? He's experienced enough to do it. He certainly has the capabilities to do it. He has an opportunity to make it happen. We'll see. But the Vikings, they've got a tough one going out to the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey, to take on the New York Giants. So the Giants, Daniel Jones coming back as the quarterback. We'll see about that. In the meantime, you've got Tommy DeVito captured the hearts of many, not just many Giants fans, but captured the hearts of football fans all over as well. So, you've got that situation going on, but you've also got Malik Neighbors. They drafted the hotshot rookie wide receiver out of LSU, and Malik Neighbors. And then you have a Giants defense that's expected to be better when you got Kayvon Thibodeau, and you also have Dexter Lawrence. Those gentlemen are going to do what they need to do to get the job done. Also, Bobby Okereke and Micah McFadden, and then Adoree Jackson. But, you know, the Giants, again, they're going through their growing pains. This is now the post-Saquon Barkley era, and this is going to be a year of a lot of growing pains for the Giants. The Vikings fans, they travel pretty well, and this is certainly going to be mainly I expect it to be a Vikings crowd at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. We have an NFC South matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints. So let's start off with the Carolina Panthers. Growing pains galore last year for the team. Bryce Young as their quarterback. What's going to happen with Bryce in year 2 under their new head coach, Dave Canales? Will he get rid of the ball quicker? Will he take more chances instead of running? Will he take more chances such as, you know, running for yardage, being even more mobile? We'll have to see about that. In the meantime, the New Orleans Saints. This is a pressure-filled year for them. Derek Carr, this is year 2 as them as the Saints quarterback. What will Derek be able to do? What about Dennis Allen? This is his 3rd year as the head coach of the Saints. Will Allen be fired at the end of the year if he doesn't get it done? Alvin Kamara in the midst of a contract dispute. What's going to happen with him going forward? However, if one of the few bright spots to this was first on the offensive side, Carr, Kamara, also Chris Olave, I believe will benefit from their new offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, who was the passing game coordinator with the 49ers. Now, they don't have Ryan Ramczyk. Ramczyk, one of the best offensive linemen in the league. He's done for the year, but they drafted a solid rookie out of Oregon State named Talise Fuaga. So we'll see how that plays out. And Talise is going to be protecting Derek Carr's blind side. So this should be interesting how that's going to play out. But some other bright spots for the Saints. Cam Jordan, he's not going anywhere. Demario Davis, not going anywhere. Also, Carl Granderson got a contract extension. He's not going anywhere neither. So the Saints, one of the bright spots, you know, the New Orleans, one of the best, not just fan bases in the NFL and in all of sports, but one of the best cities to host not just sporting events, but all events. And the Saints, they want to start off the year with a victory because, hey, this year's big one, this year's Super Bowl will be in New Orleans. So if the Saints want to have a chance to play in the Super Bowl in their hometown, they got to start it off with a chance to get a victory over Carolina. The next game we have is the Denver Broncos going up against the Seattle Seahawks. So for Denver, it's a new era. The Russell Wilson era, over with after 2 years. Sean Payton, this is his 2nd year as the head coach of the Denver Broncos. And you bring in a rookie out of Oregon, Bo Nix. Bo Nix, he dazzled and shined so bright during the preseason. Bo Nix, you could say an athletic version of Drew Brees. When he throws the ball, he's accurate and he's consistent. And he's also has athletic ability as well. And the Broncos are going to need it as well because, again, with the whole Russell Wilson contract situation, they were really unable to sign any big free agents during this year. It's probably most likely going to be that way for next year. But Sean Payton, they're counting on their rookie Bo Nix to get it done. And as for the Seattle Seahawks, Geno Smith, he's found a new life in Seattle. This is the continuing resurgence and the rebirth of a Geno Smith. Also, their running back, Kenneth Walker III, who is developing into one of the best running backs and one of the best players in the NFL. Tyler Lockett, always dependable. And what's not to love about DK Metcalf, right? I mean, hey, DK doing what DK does best, one of the best receivers in the league. So it's always a ruckus crowd. We talked about We talked about crowds and stadiums and fans in the NFL. Well, you can add the Seahawks to that list as well. The 12th man is going to be rocking and rolling in the Pacific Northwest in Seattle, and it should be a good one between the Broncos and the Seahawks. We have the Las Vegas Raiders going up against the Los Angeles Chargers. So we have a mania that's hit with the Raiders, Minshew mania, and Gardner Minshew is the quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. We can expect Minshew to get the ball to Davante Adams a lot this year. If Minshew is healthy and his offensive line can protect him, this could be a banner year for Davante Adams. So Josh Jacobs is back with the Raiders, and you know, this is supposed to be a big game for the Raiders going up against the Chargers. And with the Chargers, this is a new era, a new head coach, Jim Harbaugh. He's got his guys in place, ready to go. Justin Herbert, one of the great quarterbacks so far in the league, and continue to build his pedigree as well. No Austin Eckler, but hey, you've got rookie Blake Corum. I'm sorry, not rookie Blake Corum. I'm sorry. He plays for the Rams. But with the Chargers, you know, Coach Harbaugh, he's got his quarterback. He's got Justin Herbert. This should be, I think this is going to be a game with a lot of offense. This is going to be offense. I think this is going to come down to the quarterbacks with Minshew and Herbert. This is going to be a great game. You know, Raiders and Chargers, classic AFC West rivalry game. These two have been playing since the days of the AFL, and I think this should be a good one between the Raiders and the Chargers. We've got the Cleveland Browns going up against the Dallas Cowboys. First for Dallas, there's the soap opera that never ends. Dak Prescott still in a contract dispute. CeeDee Lamb was in a contract dispute for much of the offseason. He was rewarded with a contract extension. So your quarterback does not have a new contract. Your wide receiver's got a contract, but guess what? Dak is committed to playing this season. So you've got Cowboys bringing the soap opera to Lake Erie, going up against the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson did not play in the preseason due to having a shoulder injury. He's going to be ready to go for this year, and this is going to be, I think this could be the game that could steal the day. I think it could be one of the games that could be one of the show stealers for week one. Dak Prescott going up against Deshaun Watson. We know about Cleveland's defense led by Myles Garrett. What are they going to do in terms of having, you know, in terms of stopping CeeDee Lamb? Remember, Dallas's running game, they don't have Tony Pollard anymore, but they have Dalvin Cook now. So we shall see what happens. But this is going to be, as I stated earlier, this could be one of the show stealers of week one. Cleveland and Dallas, this is going to be, I think it's going to be fun. I think this is going to be an exciting game. We have the Washington Commanders going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. First for Tampa, Baker Mayfield, he's back in the mix this year. Head coach Todd Bowles, he's back in the mix this year. You know about Tampa's pedigree, right? Defense first, and they're going to let Baker do his thing. And as for Washington, it's a new era. Jaden Daniels. Jaden bringing so much hope to Commanders fans, not just in the DMV, but worldwide as well. So you have no Jahan Dotson anymore, but you do have Terry McLaurin, one of the best wide receivers in the league. And then you got Austin Eckler. You signed Austin, who can get you points, whether it be running the ball or catching the ball. And I just think that this is going to be a game where Jaden Daniels, I believe he's going to go off. We know Tampa, their bread and butter is defense because that's what head coach Todd Bowles is all about. But Jaden, wow, I think Jaden is going to have a coming out party. I think Jaden is going to have a game for the maybe for the record books, but he'll have one for the ages as well. I think this is going to be a great one for the Commanders as Washington takes on Tampa Bay. Sunday Night Football, the Detroit Lions going up against the Los Angeles Rams. If you remember last year's playoff game between the Rams and the Lions, you talk about one that had you on the edge of your seat. This was the game where it was Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff doing their thing. Matthew coming back to Detroit, so many memories in the Motor City, looking to steal a win. Unfortunately, falling short in the wild card game. But that was such an intriguing game. What an amazing game that was between those two gentlemen, those two quarterbacks, just doing what they do best. And we're going to see him do it again, this time on a Sunday night. So with the Rams, Matthew Stafford, they say he's in the twilight of his career. However, he is still putting up monster numbers, putting up magnificent numbers. I don't see him hanging it up, not anytime soon. I think Stafford could play, honestly, another 3 to 5 years. I really believe that. As for the Lions, Jared Goff got the contract extension in the offseason. Also, Amon-Ra St. Brown, their wide receiver, he was rewarded with a contract extension as well. So when we talk about Detroit, there's Jared Goff, there's Amon-Ra St. Brown, you've also got Jahmyr Gibbs, you've got Sam Laporta, and for the Rams, it's not just Matthew Stafford. You've got Kyron Williams, you've got Tutu Atwell, you've also got Cooper Kupp, and don't forget about Puka Nacua, right? I mean, Puka, listen, man, Puka will catch a ball in the middle of traffic. He will sacrifice his body just to get a first down times 10. But this is going to be an intriguing game on Sunday Night Football, a rematch of last year's thrilling wild card game between the Los Angeles Rams and the Detroit Lions. Monday Night Football, the New York Jets will square off against the San Francisco 49ers. So for the 49ers, it was a year filled with contract disputes. We had Brandon Ayuk all season long threatening to leave the team. The Pittsburgh Steelers were interested in getting him, but after months and months and months of contract disputes, they were able to work it out, and Brandon Ayuk gets the contract extension. So we've taken care of Brandon, but Trent Williams still has not reported to camp as this show is airing. And you need Trent Williams, one of the best offensive linemen in the league, one of the best offensive linemen in history, will be a future first ballot Hall of Famer. So while they have a contract dispute ongoing with Trent Williams, you do have Brock Purdy, you do have Deebo Samuel, you do have George Kittle, and you do have Christian McCaffrey. So Christian, hopefully, knock on wood, Trent Williams returns. Hopefully they can get him a contract. If not, the 49ers are going to rely heavily on McCaffrey in this game, because when McCaffrey gets going, everybody gets going. And as for the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers, I talked about him earlier. This is a make-or-break year for him. This is a make-or-break year for the Jets. They have to get it done when you're playing in New York. You cannot half step. You have to be on point at all times. And I'll just be the first to say the Jets are going to have to the Jets are going to have to be on point week one going up against that defense when you've got a Nick Bosa and you've got a Leonard Floyd and you've got a Fred Warner to get it done. And again, Aaron did not play in the preseason, due to interesting circumstances. I won't get into that, but nevertheless, Aaron Rodgers, I know he's going to be ready. You got Alan Lazard, you got Mike Williams, and also the Jets, they've retooled the offensive line, particularly to protect Aaron's blind side, and we'll see how it all plays out. But I think this is good. It's going to be a rocking crowd out in the Bay Area, in Santa Clara to be exact, for Monday Night Football between the New York Jets and the San Francisco 49ers. All right, now it's time for my game of the week. My game of the week is going to be the New York Jets versus the San Francisco 49ers. The NFL it's been a quarterbacks league for several decades now. And we love watching our favorite teams play. We love watching our favorite players play. And we love watching quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers is one of those quarterbacks that not only do I love watching play, but a lot of people love watching, love watching him play. Aaron Rodgers is a future first ballot Hall of Famer. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The fever pitch was extraordinary for last year's opener against the Buffalo Bills on Monday night. Several plays into the game, we know what happened. Rodgers suffers his Achilles, tears his Achilles, done for the year. So we sat through Zach Wilson. God bless Zach. We wish him all the best with the Denver Broncos. But if Aaron Rodgers, listen, say what you want about him with all, the political views, social things. I get that. That's his prerogative. But Aaron fought hard to be ready for week one. And guess what? He will be ready for week one against the San Francisco 49ers. Did not play in the preseason. However, the Jets did help him get better on the offensive line side. They helped him not only to get linemen to protect his blind side, but also just to protect him as a whole. The receiver side, we got Alan Lazard. That was his teammate in Green Bay. Also, Mike Williams, he's coming back. And then you've also got, Mike Williams has joined the team from the Los Angeles Chargers. Garrett Wilson is coming back. And then you've got Tyler Conklin as your tight end. So this is going to be huge, not just for Aaron, but for the Jets as well, because there's a lot riding on this, because the Super Bowl aspirations are very high for the Jets since Rodgers has arrived in New York. So while the aspirations are high for the Jets, the aspirations are even higher for the 49ers. Trent Williams, still no contract. We don't know when he's going to show up. Will he play Monday night? Maybe. We'll see. Bottom line is this. The 49ers fell short in the big game in overtime to the Kansas City Chiefs last year, and this is a statement game for them. They had their troubles during the offseason with the whole Trent Williams situation, Brandon Ayuk finally getting the brand new contract, but you've got Brock Purdy, you've got Deebo Samuel, you've got George Kittle, and you've got Christian McCaffrey. When McCaffrey gets going, that's when the 49ers offense really gets going. When McCaffrey can run the ball, Purdy is able to make plays and get passes to Ayuk and Deebo and Kittle and so on and so forth. We know about the 49ers and what they've done the last several years. They've been consistent, but they've fallen short getting the goals. They've fallen short in the big game as well as big games as well. But this year is make or break for the 49ers, not just for the New York Jets. And there's so many storylines riding on this. I think the big storyline is going to come down to, again, the quarterbacks. Brock Purdy going up against Aaron Rodgers. If you know about Aaron's story, Aaron grew up in Northern California, grew up near the Bay Area, a diehard 49ers fan, wanted to play for the Niners, wasn't drafted. You know how that goes. Wound up going to Green Bay. Coming back home, would love nothing more than to get a victory. And certainly this is a lot of storylines, not just with Aaron Rodgers and not just with the New York Jets, but even with the 49ers as well. There's a lot riding on this game, and it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be great Monday night with the New York Jets and the San Francisco 49ers, my game of the week. All right, now it's time for my picks on who I think will win Week 1's games. Thursday night, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. It's going to be a very close game, but I like the Chiefs to win. The Friday night game in Sao Paulo, Brazil, with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. I like Philadelphia to win. The Arizona Cardinals take on the Buffalo Bills. I like Buffalo to win. The Jacksonville Jaguars take on the Miami Dolphins. I like Miami to win. The Tennessee Titans square off against the Chicago Bears. I like Chicago to win. The Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Atlanta Falcons. This is going to be a close game, but I like Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers to win that one. The New England Patriots square off against the Cincinnati Bengals. I like Cincinnati to win. In the AFC South matchup between the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts, I like Houston to win. The Minnesota Vikings going up against the New York Giants. I like Minnesota to win. In the NFC South matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints, I like New Orleans to win. The Denver Broncos going up against the Seattle Seahawks, I like Seattle to win. The Las Vegas Raiders going up against the Los Angeles Chargers, I like the Chargers to win. The Dallas Cowboys going up against the Cleveland Browns. I think this is going to be a close game, but I like the Cleveland Browns to beat Dallas. The Washington Commanders going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like Washington to win. Sunday Night Football, the Los Angeles Rams going up against the Detroit Lions. I like Detroit to win. Monday Night Football, the New York Jets going up against the San Francisco 49ers. I think this is going to be a really good game, but I like the New York Jets to beat the 49ers. So again, my picks are Kansas City, Philadelphia, Buffalo, Miami, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Houston, Minnesota, New Orleans, Seattle, LA Chargers, Cleveland, Washington, Detroit, and the New York Jets. That's it. And that's going to do it for another exciting edition of the program. Thank you so much again for joining me. And until next time, everybody, I'm Ed Robinson saying so long, and you take care. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.